Hello, friends. If your husband or wife has passed and you are between 60 and 64, there is up to $1,682 a month waiting for you, and Service Canada will never call to tell you it exists. Stay with me until number 6, because that is the one most widowed Canadians get completely backwards, and it quietly costs them thousands. Number 1. The benefit itself, called the Allowance for the Survivor. Most people have never heard the name, and that is exactly the problem. If your spouse or common law partner has died, you are aged 60 to 64, you live in Canada, and your income is low, you can receive up to $1,682 every month, tax-free. Not a loan, not a one-time check, every single month until you turn 65. To qualify in 2026, your annual income has to be under about $30,300, and you cannot have remarried or entered a new common law relationship. You also must have lived in Canada for at least 10 years since turning 18. Here is the mechanics of it. The amount is based on your income from the previous year. The lower your income, the closer you get to that full amount. Someone with almost nothing coming in gets the maximum. Someone with a small pension gets a reduced amount that shrinks as income rises, and it disappears completely once you cross that $30,000 line. Picture Margaret, 61, whose only income is a small $400 a month pension, about $4,800 a year. She lands near the full rate, close to $1,600 monthly, roughly $19,000 over a year. Her neighbor with $28,000 in pension income gets under $200, barely $2,200 for the whole year. Now the mistake that costs the most. People assume that because their spouse paid into the system for 40 years, this benefit simply appears. It does not. There is no letter, no automatic deposit. One widower, 62, waited because he expected a notice in the mail that never came and lost 14 months, over $23,000 gone before he ever filed. Your action this week: go to canada.ca, search the words Allowance for the Survivor, and compare your last tax return, line 23,600, to that income limit. Number 2. You have to apply, and the clock is punishing. This benefit does not backdate to the month your spouse died. Service Canada will only pay you a maximum of 11 months of retroactive money. So if you find out about this 2 years too late, that first year is simply gone. You cannot recover it. Think about what that means in real dollars. At the maximum rate, 11 months is roughly $18,500, and every month you wait past that window is another $1,682 erased forever. Take Susan, widowed at 60, who learned about the benefit at 63. She did not collect 3 years of back payments, about $60,000. She collected 11 months and lost more than $38,000 she was fully entitled to. The common error here is grief-based delay. People are overwhelmed. They file the estate paperwork, they sort the funeral bills, and they tell themselves they will deal with the government benefits later. Later is exactly what the 11-month rule punishes. What to do? Apply the moment you are eligible, even if your paperwork is not perfect. You can send the death certificate and marriage proof afterward. Service Canada gives you a follow-up window to submit them. Get the application date on the record first, even a same-day online start date stamp, because that date is what protects your money. One woman started her application online at midnight the day she turned 60 and locked in her first check. Her sister waited 8 months and lost over $13,000 for the identical situation. And remember, number 6 is the part almost everyone gets wrong, so keep it in mind as we go. Number 3, the income test and the trap hiding inside it. Because the benefit is calculated on last year's income, one large withdrawal can wipe out an entire year of payments. Here's the classic mistake. A newly widowed woman named Linda cashes out a $10,000 RRSP to cover the funeral and the bills. That $10,000 counts as income. It pushes her over the threshold, and the following year, Service Canada reduces or cancels her allowance for the survivor, costing her close to $20,000 in lost checks to access $10,000 she could have found another way. She effectively paid $10,000 for the privilege of borrowing her own money. The fix is timing. If you can cover costs another way, delay large RRSP or RRIF withdrawals, or spread them across 2 calendar years, $5,000 in December and $5,000 in January. So no single year spikes your income above that $30,000 cutoff. Also know what does not count against you. the money you inherit from your spouse's estate, the $2,500 CPP death benefit lump sum, and TFSA withdrawals are treated differently than RRSP income. A $15,000 TFSA withdrawal changes nothing, while the same $15,000 out of an RRSP can zero out your benefit. Your action step: before you pull money out of any registered account this year, ask yourself whether that withdrawal could cost you a $1,600 monthly check. Often, waiting a few months to make the withdrawal in a lower income year keeps both the cash and the benefit. Number 4. This is separate from CPP, and you can collect both at the same time. Too many people believe they get one survivor benefit and have to choose. That is wrong. The allowance for the survivor comes from the Old Age Security System. The CPP Survivor's Pension is a completely different program from the Canada Pension Plan, and it stacks on top. Under age 65, the CPP Survivor's Pension pays up to $803 a month in 2026, a flat portion of about $238, plus 37.5% of your late spouse's CPP retirement pension. On top of that, there is a one-time death benefit of up to $2,500. So a widow like Margaret from earlier could be receiving $1,600 from the allowance for the survivor and, say, $600 from the CPP survivor's pension together. Over $2,200 a month, more than $26,000 a year, plus that $2,500 lump sum. The mistake is applying for one and assuming you are done. One man claimed only the OAS survivor benefit and left roughly $7,200 a year in CPP on the table for 3 years. Over $21,000 he never got back. 2 separate applications, 2 separate programs. Your action: apply for the CPP survivor's pension and the death benefit as well, using Form ISP 1300. Do not leave that $800 a month sitting there. Number 5. A new relationship changes everything, and the rules are not obvious. The allowance for the survivor has a hard condition. If you remarry or you begin living with a new partner in a common law relationship, in most cases, that means 12 continuous months together. Your eligibility ends. Service Canada considers you no longer a surviving spouse for the purposes of this specific benefit. This catches people who move in with a companion for comfort or to share costs after a loss, not realizing they have just triggered a rule that stops $1,682 a month. One widow moved in with a partner at 62 and kept quiet about it. 2 years later, Service Canada assessed a $19,000 overpayment and began clawing it back at $100 a month from her later benefits, a debt that followed her into her 70s. But here is the important distinction. Your CPP survivor's pension is not affected the same way. Once you qualify for it, a new relationship does not take it away. So the 2 benefits behave differently, and confusing them causes real damage. What to do? If your living situation changes, understand exactly which benefit is affected before you assume the worst. And report changes honestly within the month, because an overpayment Service Canada later claws back is a debt you will repay, often out of the very checks you depend on. Number 6. The one most people get completely backwards. Many widowed Canadians treat this benefit like a pension that grows if they wait, so they delay applying, thinking a bigger payment builds up for later. It does not. The allowance for the survivor is strictly month to month. Every month you are eligible and do not claim is gone permanently. It never accumulates into a larger sum. Consider a widow who became eligible at 60 and decided to save it until 64. She did not bank 48 months at $1,600. About $77,000. She banked nothing, and only 11 months of that were ever recoverable. So she clawed back $18,000 and lost $59,000. And here is the part that stuns people. At 65, this benefit stops entirely. It does not continue. Instead, you transition into regular old age security and the guaranteed income supplement, but only if you are enrolled in OAS. So the window to collect the allowance for the survivor is narrow, from 60 to 65, and not 1 day longer. 5 years, 60 possible checks, and each skipped one is gone. People who save it for when they really need it discover there is nothing to save. The money they skipped simply vanished, and now they are 65 with years of empty months behind them. The correct mindset is the opposite of waiting. Claim every eligible month the instant you can. Then make sure your OAS application is filed at least 6 months before your 65th birthday, so the transition is seamless and no month falls through the gap. One widow filed her OAS just 3 weeks before turning 65 and went 2 months with no check at all during the switch. So here is your single action this week. Go to canada.ca, search Allowance for the Survivor, and start your application today. Even 1 month of delay is $1,682 you never get back. If this could help you or someone you love who has lost a spouse, share it with them and subscribe, because the people who find out in time are the ones who get paid.